That makes sense to me. That's why I love this business. So let me ask you, just by show of hands, how many people here are just kicking the tires a little bit? You're trying to decide if you want to join this, if you really want to get in. Who here is not a member yet? Raise up hands. Got some guests here. All right, we got a few people that are checking this out. Well, we're excited that you're here. And what we're going to do, let me just lay out what the rest of the day is going to look like for you. Next, we're going to hear from our CEO and founder, Jason Golly, who's going to talk to you about the opportunity side of this. He's going to talk to you about how you can be rewarded for sharing this incredible product with others. And then we're going to have an opportunity to hear from our chairman and founder, David Nemelka. He's going to talk to you about why engage. Why it was an incredible opportunity for him, why he decided to change his life and get involved with this, and why he's so excited for you. At that point, we'll break for lunch, and then we'll come back for some training in the afternoon. But without further ado, let's put our hands together for Jason Golly.
All right, so while you load that, I'm going to use this power. Hello. Hello. It's still morning. Good morning. Thank you for being here. As Noah said, we're very excited that you're here for a lot of reasons. Especially, we're grateful to have those of you here who have not yet become members. Everybody's important to engage. And we want you to appreciate a couple of things that are important to us. So while he's doing that, let me just mention a couple of things that I think you will appreciate. And then we'll go into the presentation. Does anybody in this room believe in that thing called the American dream? Can I just see a raise of hand? Who believes in that thing? Thank you. We believe in the same thing. We do not believe it's dead. We believe it's still very much a reality for those of us who want it. Please also understand something about us. For us, there is no option of failure. Engage will become a multinational, multi-hundred-million-dollar, perhaps billion-dollar company for you to enjoy and for your children to enjoy and for generations after that to enjoy. That is our commitment. Please also understand that our long-term commitment is about supporting you. We are absolutely dedicated to your success. Now, you might probably be asking this question: how is it that Jason and David, Noah ended up here today? How is it this whole thing came about? And why is it, thank you, and why is it that you're hearing from us particularly? And isn't it funny, isn't it interesting how sometimes those small events in life can eventually change our lives? Sometimes there are those very seemingly inconsequential, unimportant events that later can change our lives and eventually the world. When David and I, about 2 years ago, happened to have been attending a meeting where I happened to have looked into a man's bag and happened to have seen MMF in the original blister card. And this man happened to have been the president of our sister company that developed it for the military. And we just happened to ask the question, what is that? Will you tell us about that? That brought us here today. But let me share something else about me particularly and why I am dedicated to your success and why I am excited to be here serving you. My career in this industry began about 24 or 5, somewhere over 20 years ago. I haven't done the math yet. I know it's over 20. And it began when I was sent to the former Soviet Union to to open a new business, a little business at the time, that was called network marketing. And I didn't know what it was. But I knew that I wanted to be part of something neat, something powerful, something new, something that would change lives. Because I, having experienced that part of the world, knew that network marketing would be very different for them. That products that we would be selling would be very different for them. And so I embarked on that path and had an amazing success. We built a multi-million-dollar business over there from zero, from scratch. Had to find leaders, sales leaders, had to find a place to do business, license product for import, do all of those things. And by the way, in the former Soviet Union, there are 57 different organizations who can come in at any time and close you down if they want to. And in that environment, we managed to become very successful. And that was my springboard, my beginning to duplicating that same thing in many other countries over the years. And during that time, I came to appreciate a couple of very important things. First of all, I came to appreciate the power of you, the power of the individual person who wants to affect change. I look at this room, and I think of how my career began, and I think how many people were in that room. And there were far fewer people in that room when we started in this little town called Kiev. Yet, it grew into something enormous. Does anybody here know how many people signed the Declaration of the American Declaration of Independence? Anybody know how many people actually signed that who were part of that process? It was 56 people. 56 people put this country of 330 million people today on a path that would change the world forever. 56 people. My question to you is, would you be willing to sign your own declaration of financial freedom? That's a question I would pose to you. How important is your financial freedom? Because we have a product, as we've all come to love. This was mine. Took this one. You can't have it. Forgive me, I just had a thought that I actually wanted to share with you. There was one other thing in my career that I just want to share really quickly before I go on. One other thing that really, really affected me powerfully and positively. I happened to have been in a meeting similar to this with some leaders in Israel after we had just started building. We faced a lot of problems, faced a lot of struggles, as you can imagine, in Israel. It's a tense environment generally, but to conduct a successful business there, you can imagine it's tense. You've got two very different groups of people you're trying to market to, and then, anyway, you know the situation there in Israel. And at one point, we were trying to address some very challenging issues in the business. And a couple of leaders stood up and said, you know, Jason, there's something you need to understand about us. No matter what comes and goes, no matter what happens, there's one thing over which we will always have control. So he had my attention. I was listening. Okay, well, what is it? He said, or they said actually, we will always have control over how we respond to what happens to us. So no matter what happens in the business as we are building it, no matter who says no, no matter what issue might happen, the fact is, we still control how we respond to those things. And as a result, Jason, we will always have our own success in our own hands. And that was the first time I had heard such a thing, stated so succinctly. I thought, wow, they're right. They're right. And since then, I've tried to embrace the same thing. And I would encourage you, as you lock arms with us, as you embark on this movement, on this path of changing our own lives, changing the lives of people around us, and then ultimately changing America and then the world. If we will always take that approach of understanding and knowing and believing in here that we control our own future, our own response to events, I believe this will be a wonderful, fantastic journey. But as I mentioned a moment ago, we have a product that, as you heard from Noah, is designed to free us, to provide us a certain amount of freedom from poor health. My family has really benefited from this, and is one of the reasons why I am so passionately dedicated to the success of Engage. For so many years, sorry, Jeff, I'll stand here. For so many years, 2 decades, actually more, almost 30 years, I was immune compromised. I don't have a spleen, and I don't even know what else they took out while I was asleep when they were operating on me. All I know is I would always get sick every year. Every year, bronchitis, pneumonia, sinus infections. My record is 16 sinus infections in 1 year. And I lived on antibiotics, and that was just my life. I was always sick. But for the last year and a half, the worst I've had to deal with is allergies. Wow, that's life-changing for me. And I have 3 very special children, and they're all doing wonderfully. Especially my ADHD son, who's able to focus. He just passed his honors math assessment, so he's able to progress in high school in his honors math. That's something he would never have been able to do. He could never sit still that long, ever, to focus on something like that. So I would invite you to, as you embark on the path of experiencing MMF and experiencing the freedom that will come for you and for your families from poor health, also explore the possibilities of financial freedom. Because that is equally as important to the mission of Engage as is MMF. Because we know how unhealthy the world is, starting right here with Americans. We are overfed and undernourished. I'm sorry, that's kind of an interesting expression. But we have plenty to eat, but we don't have the right nourishment here in this country. And that, in so many countries all over the world, that's the same problem. And I think that too is similar to another problem we have, even right here in the richest country on the planet. We have a lot of us who are very financially sick. And I'd like to just share a couple of things with you really quickly. I might mess this up. Oh, there we go. So I'd like to introduce a couple of concepts that are part of the Engage Global movement. This part we call the Engage Global Compensation Plan, or bonus system. And it has a couple of very interesting facets and features. And I'll have to, well, in fact, let me just tell you what they are, and then I'll tell you why and how we created them. So
stand here. And then we can see that.
Okay. There we go. I want to be in front of this one, and sorry. All right, you can all see fine? Good? Okay. So let me share these with you first, and then I'll explain why and how they came about. Fast Start is just that. We want to give you a chance to start your career with us fast. It's not a meandering start bonus. It's not a as I get around to it bonus. It's a fast start bonus because we know that for so many of us, having the chance to take control of our own financial lives and create financial freedom is something we're not really wanting to be patient for. We want it now, and you deserve it now. And so Fast Start is part of the program to enable you to have it now. Next, team commissions. This is all about helping everybody around us experience the benefits of MMF. And when we do this, and as we create consumption, and as we create members who consume MMF and enjoy it every month, you are rewarded for that effort. Of course, we have matching bonuses as well, which are designed to encourage you to help promote leadership in your team. It's as simple as that. Because people often ask me, can you explain the Engage bonus plan in like 30 seconds? And my answer is, I can do it in less than that, but I have to talk fast. So let me try it in 30 seconds. If you will do two things as part of your career with Engage, you will enjoy success with us. For one, if you will continually share the MMF experience with other people, if you will continually, every month, help other people become members, become consumers of MMF. If you will do that, and out of that group of people, as some of them say, I want to turn this into a career for myself, like you are doing. If you will help those people do what you do, then this bonus plan is designed to reward you all along the way without having to think about it. But you have to do just those two things. So let's recap. What are those two things? Number one, continually create new members in your team. And number two, out of that group of new members, help the ones who want to be like you, help them be like you. For those two activities, this bonus system is designed to keep right in pace with you. Now, this part at the bottom that talks about expansions and reentries, we'll skip that for this reason. That part is there because we know where we're going as a company. We know how large this company will become, and we know how we will spread across the globe. We want you to have a mechanism to never be confronted with the prospect of having a large business grow somewhere and you not get paid for it. That's what that function is there for. And we'll get to that when you want to know more and as we go through training. But just understand, it's there. We're thinking that far forward and building into our compensation structures those mechanisms that will reward you for doing the right things and creating the right behavior. Now, we call this movement membership marketing. And forgive me, I know this is kind of small. I hope in the back you can see it. We'll even make this available if you want print-offs. We can give it to you, put it on the website, wherever you want it. We'll make sure it's available to you so you can share this with other folks. But if you can't see it in the back, at the top, that's a laser. There we go. Number one, as I mentioned a little earlier, we know that investing in people works. Think about it. If you're going to invest in something, what would you like to invest in? What has the greatest potential for creating a return on your investment? What has the greatest potential of becoming worth more than you could possibly imagine? Well, you do. You have the greatest potential. It's not gold, it's not some precious metal or some stone. No, it's you, it's we, it's people. We have the greatest potential of creating true financial freedom. So we know that investing in people works. And for that reason, our compensation structure is designed to pay more than any other bonus structure out there. Yes, it's difficult to manage, but we're up to the task. We're happy to do it. We know how to do it, and we're doing it very specifically for this reason. We know that by investing in you and having a bonus structure that pays you very handsomely, that you will be able to attain that level of financial freedom that no one else can give you, and that only promoting MMF can create. That's what this part at the top means. But there are a couple of interesting facts that I think are very important for us in this room. The first is, pardon me, we know, statistically speaking, the average American household is roughly $500 a month away from either a financial disaster and bankruptcy, or on the other side, a life-changing event. What that means is, if you can help someone, or if for you possibly, you can create an income of roughly $500 or more a month, that's the difference between filing for bankruptcy and living on the very edge of being able to pay your bills, and possibly buying a new car, or being able to live in a comfortable home, or some important things in life. For most people in this country, that number is the difference. But there's another one that is even more important to me, and that's the next one you see behind me. And that's the one that suggests that most households in this country now, depends on which poll you read, but it's in the 60 roughly percentage or percentile of working households. Roughly 60+% of them are two-income households, most. That means both heads of household are working, or the single head of household has two jobs. That's the new reality in this country. And I don't think any of us likes it. So the number you see before me, roughly a $900 a month income, is the difference between a two-income or a two-job household or a one. Which really, in my estimation, means it's the difference between a two-income household or a home. Because by enabling someone to stay home, well, now you can do all kinds of wonderful things that should happen at home with family. That's what these numbers represent. That's what this bonus plan represents. The numbers are a way to count and quantify how we are helping people, but that's all it is. It's a mechanism designed to help create the financial realities that Americans deserve. And we're embarking on that path right now in Southern California, starting in Anaheim, to share that with the good people right here. And it's going to expand and spread from here. This is our first meeting after our launch. In fact, this is our first meeting ever for Engage Global here in California. And you're part of it. What does that say about you? Well, to us it says you're ready to sign that Declaration of Financial Independence. Now, there's something else that's really important, I think, to explain, and that is this last part. Here's what I mean. Some people will question, or they will speak negatively, say, of this form of distribution. People will say, network marketing is just full of crooks. That whole Amway thing is just bad news, right? We've all heard it. Right? But the truth is that when people say that, what they're saying is the people I dealt with before were bad news, not the model. Because here's what we know about the model, right? We know that by inserting you, putting you in between, right in between us, the supply, and the consumer, the demand, that's what creates wealth. That creates wealth. Here's how we know that. See this list on the bottom? This is a very short list, but it's the only one that would fit on the bottom of the slide. Brokers, wholesalers, agents, distributors, vendors, we've all heard these phrases, these terms before, right? We know what these words mean. Nobody questions, well, I'm a broker for so-and-so. Oh, great, that's great business. If you called yourself a broker, no one would think twice. So part of what our message is of Engage Global is helping America redefine our terms and redefine what matters in our economy. and what actually creates wealth in our economy. And it's something as simple as putting you in between supply and the demand. It's truly that simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. And we're here to support you in that effort. So what's important, I think, now to explain is, and I'm almost done, is this. So I told you in the beginning that we have a fast start feature and team commissions and matching and then these other reentry and expansion things. Why? And how did that come about? There are all kinds of ways that we've heard of and seen before in this industry for compensating people. We've heard weird terms like binaries and singlenaries and unilevels and breakaways and all kinds of terms. We're just going, what does all that mean? Well, for us, it really didn't mean anything, truthfully, because we started from zero. We started from scratch. You recall, my career personally started from scratch, halfway across the world. But Engage Global, for us, also had to start from scratch for this reason. There was nothing good enough. There does not exist in the world of compensation plans. There does not exist, and we'll call it off-the-shelf or readily available solution, good enough for you, good enough for Engage Global, good enough for the people who will share MMF. It didn't exist. So we couldn't say, well, let's use the something ordinary plan from this company and because we know they're successful, and so let's just do that. We couldn't do it, so we had to create one for you. And so the creation process was much like the creation process of MMF. MMF works because it contains those very specific micronutrients in their proper forms that the human body needs for peak health. It's as simple as that. Our compensation structure is unique and works because it contains those features and aspects of compensation logic that creates wealth. And it had to be created from zero in order to come to the level of Engage and MMF. And I'm happy to say that in all of the modeling and of all this experience, well, not a lot of experience, we're still such a very new company, but of the experience we have, we know that MMF and our compensation plan are both setting industry standards. And you're part of that. You're part of that. And that's magical. Now, help me, oh, not too far. There we go. But here's what I want to just explain really quickly. You will see, so this term best features. And when you look at the bonus plan flyer, in fact, I'm going to encourage you now to look at that flyer you received earlier. They handed them out. One side looks like this, the back side, and the other side looks like the bonus plan. Well, up in the corner, you'll see a little job like that. And what it says is this is the first compensation structure to combine all of those best aspects, as I explained a moment ago, all of those best aspects of proven systems into one. Just like MMF combines all of the best natural isoform micronutrients into one formulation. And that is why we, as I mentioned, know that MMF and our compensation structure are setting industry standards and proving that we will lead the way. Now, how are we leading the way? See this part here, the spring promo bit? I'd like you to turn your paper over. Oh, sorry, I got one here. It'll look like that. I'd like you to just look at this side really quickly. Now, I'm not going to go down through all of these numbers, but what I would like you to look at is the far right column and the bold numbers. Take a good look at those numbers, then look at the column on the far left that shows 3, 6, 9, or 12. That's people. That's people. Now look back at the numbers on the far right and compare those two. And you can see then how this compensation structure, especially during this promotional period that began for February, continues now in March, and will continue through April. This promotional structure is designed to create wealth in a way that's never, ever been even tried before. Because it means instead of paying you roughly half of company sales, we're paying you 70% of company sales. And that's for a very particular reason. We know, just like when you launch the space shuttle into orbit, most of its fuel gets used leaving the Earth's atmosphere. The beginning phase is where most of that fuel is used. Just like when you're running, most of your energy expended is getting out of the block, so too we understand that helping you start your business here and then expanding it is going to require a little bit more fuel. Well, the financial fuel is there. And that's what this is meant to help you understand and explain. Let me just tell you what this top row means. I'll point to this here. So you'll see this, of course, represents the number of members. This part here lets you know, are they buying the Fast Start Pack or the Fast Start Builder Pack? That's a one-time purchase when you join your Engage Global business, when you start your Engage Global business. And that's meant to get you the materials, but mostly enough product to start sharing with others and creating that demand. But this helps you see that with this many people who buy these packs, create, there we go, these buttons are kind of small, that it will create a certain number of total sales, creating a certain amount of volume, which creates team commissions and a fast start bonus, and the leadership bonus, that's what the LB means, for a total of this. So this means team commissions, this means fast start bonus, and this means leadership bonus. And when you combine all of those, you get the bold number on the right. Now this afternoon, right after the break, we're going to talk about the compensation structure in a little bit more detail for those who wish to know. But as I mentioned earlier, here's what really matters. 3 things. This is what matters. And if you leave here today with anything stuck in your mind about my presentation, it should hopefully be the following. You have to decide right now, are you going to sign your own personal declaration of financial independence? If you are, if you're ready to embark on a new path and own your financial future, create the kind of wealth that you deserve, that your children and grandchildren and beyond deserve to inherit from you, then we encourage you to do 2 things. Number 1, help other people experience the benefits of MMF. So when you become a member today, continue to help others experience the benefits of MMF. Create members everywhere you go. And of those groups of members, help them do what you do. Help them duplicate. Help them see the vision of creating wealth for themselves instead of just going to a job forever and then hoping for Social Security when they retire. Help them see something more. Help them see what we're offering. Help them see this. And when you do that, if you will leave here with that conviction in your heart and in your head, then I will make this prediction and I will make this promise to you. That Southern California will become the epicenter for Engage of tremendous wealth. That as Engage Global expands across the world, yes, and as other companies and countries are open, the financial benefit of that will come back to you. Thank you for your passion and your energy. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for allowing me to share this with you. God bless.
All right. That was inspiring, huh? What do you guys think of that message? Who here agreed to participate and be part of that episode? Put a hand, anyone want to do that? That might be a little bit fun, huh? Yeah, so we do some incredible things here at Engage. It's really been a fun ride so far. Who's enjoyed the day so far? Started out with a lot of energy. We learned about the product. We learned about the opportunity. Next, what we're going to learn about who these people are. You're going to hear from our chairman, David Melvin. He's going to talk to you about who he is. He's going to tell you a little bit about his story and his vision for this company and give you a little bit of insight as to why did David change what he was doing and come over to do this? What is that vision that he has for himself, but more importantly for all of you that you can participate in? So without further ado, let's put our hands together. Let's welcome our chairman, founder, David Melvin.
Okay, thank you so much for coming today. I have a quick question. My Spanish friends asked me to ask a question. ¿Cómo está el negocio? I love it. I love it. I love it. For the English-speaking friends that are here, which I just learned today, what I just asked was, how is your business doing? Irresistible! And the answer is irresistible. Don't you love that? I love it. You know what? I just had to take a potty break. I don't know how you're doing in here. So why don't we take a 10-minute bathroom break, get everybody a chance to be refreshed and ready because I want to have some fun with you guys, okay? Let's take 10 minutes.